Yo,
Hello.
have you seen Masters of the Universe yet?
No, I wanted to, and I missed it when it was in theaters.
I have mixed feelings about it. This is
Okay.
probably the first time I've ever been so disappointed in a movie that I actually want to see again.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. And I heard a lot about Jared Leto, and that's always a roll of the dice that
Yeah.
has like one side that has numbers and the rest are just blank. But, like, you don't know
Got him.
dude, he stole the show. Like,
I've heard that. I have heard that from multiple people.
that's literally why I want to watch it again.
That's
Because
funny.
Jared Leto did so well. I showed a scene to my wife and she's like, "That's Jared Leto?" She's like, "It doesn't even sound like him." I was like, "Well, they modulate his voice, but like he's saying those lines.
I guess he found his calling.
It
Good for him.
doesn't sound like Jared Leto." If you ask me who is that, I'd have guessed 100 people before Jared Leto.
That's really funny.
He stole the show, dude. It's good. But the thing is, he does well because you never really know when he's serious or when he's joking, and so there is that kind of like he's a little bit psychotic. Skeletor is a little bit psychotic because of that, but everyone else is just like the whole thing is just a joke. Like the whole movie is everything is a joke. And it's just like, man, nobody takes themselves. It's not even like a Sharknado, right? Where everyone realizes it's a joke, except Ian Ziering.
Right.
He's still like, he is at least driving the story.
Yes.
There is nothing driving the story in this movie. It's just like, okay, what should we do next? Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that next. And that's what it feels like. But after I finished the movie, I was like talking about it. I'm like, man, I kind of want to watch it again. I don't know why. Why would I want to do that?
Well, it is. I mean, it's unusual for you to like not like something that much, but be like, but you know what?
But I don't want to see it.
So that's unique.
Welcome to This Endorian Life, a nostalgic Star Wars podcast from the Radio Meanwhile Network. My name is Steve Rudd.
I'm Nick Gunning, and we're taking apart the world of Star Wars Lego brick by brick.
Today we are discussing Season 1, Episode 3 of the Lego Star Wars The Freemaker Adventures. This episode is called Zander's Joyride, which first aired on Disney XD June 22nd, 2016.
Yes, this episode is number 3 of 26 across 2 seasons. Today's episode is written by Russ Carney and Ron Cursillo and directed by Per Reisiger. Standard cast in place here for the most part, though Grey Elise pulls double duty, voicing both Nare and young Anakin in the flashback scene.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd call it a classic returning character, but Matt Sloan does return as Vader. Though I have to say, he was a little better without the Emperor. Just Vader. Was pretty funny.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I actually agree. He was not the most annoying thing. When I saw him, I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the most annoying thing about the episode.
No, it was okay.
So.
It was all right.
Yeah.
Our Star Wars link today is Thomas Lennon, who voices Wick Cooper. We've seen this character before when we watched Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation, and we didn't really realize that this was a recurring character at the time. We just were like, oh, it's this guy,
Yeah.
But whenever I see him or hear him, I think of The Odd Couple, the series he did with Matthew Perry over the course of 3 seasons. I just love it so much. I'm always in the mood to watch that. It's of course. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
When I heard that, I was like, you haven't been murdered.
Yeah.
You're not murdered.
Yeah.
It's like a classic scene in Reno.
Yeah.
I love that show. So bad.
Yeah, I guess that's what everybody would think, but I just love that Odd Couple show for some reason. But anyway, most recently he starred as Paper in the Nickelodeon series Rock, Paper, Scissors, which my son really loves. And so we watched several episodes of this together. And as soon as Paper started talking, I was like, it's Thomas Lennon. So it was fun to have him here as Wick.
Yeah. Super recognizable voice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love it when there's characters where you're like, whoa. you know, and they get me to pause, and I'm
Yep.
like, wait, who is that?
Who is it?
That's
Yeah.
this is that place. Like I know this voice, but it's like the wrong place.
Yep.
I love that.
And he'll
That's so
do a
much
few
fun.
more episodes. It looked like 5 or 6 episodes we have him in. So we'll see this
Oh,
character
really?
again. Yep.
And he still has Wick Cooper.
I believe so.
Interesting.
Yep.
The way I feel about Masters of the Universe is exactly how I feel about this episode, where I'm
Yeah.
like, literally nothing happened,
Well,
but it wasn't a terrible
right.
episode. Like
No,
I don't
I think
understand.
it's
You
very
know,
old school in that it's kind of a filler episode, like not in a
it
bad
does,
way.
yeah. But it's a good filler. It didn't feel
Yeah.
like a filler. I thought
No.
something was going to happen out of this, and then it just didn't. I was like, oh.
But I feel like if every episode was just like, oh, we got to find more of the crystals. Well, find more crystals. Well, it would get a little dull.
True.
So it's like the first episode was really heavy, laying out these are all the characters. This is what it's going to do.
Yeah.
The second episode was a more serious, like side quest, and we're introducing, a lesser villain, that mid-level villain. And this was just sort of like, and while all that's happening, they still have a business to run, and hijinks ensue.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I don't really push back on that. I think that's fine. I think you need
Just
variety.
letting the characters too, right?
Yeah.
Like this was kind of Xander's episode. They
Right.
had like a Rowan episode, Zander episode. I'm sure they're going to have a Cordy episode.
Yep.
So yeah, it made sense to me, but I was just like, oh, like so many things were hinted at, a lot of potential, and I feel like we're going to see it pan out later on. You know, when you like feel stuff, you're like, ooh, that should have been something, and it's just like, oh, maybe, maybe down the line it will be, or maybe not. You know, it's Lego,
not.
so
maybe not.
The uber detailed plot of Xander's Joyride. Rowan and Roger desperately try to distract Zander from realizing there's a Naboo starfighter in the hangar while he works on his own Blazemaker. The crew finally gets a paying customer. Zander is obsessed with the N1 fighter and must fly it. Despite their efforts, Zander blasts off, and the crew puts Roger in charge of distracting Wick, the owner of the N1 fighter. Wick Cooper, that is.
That's right.
On his joyride, Zander gets into the middle of a rebel attack and is tractored in and mistaken as a rebel. Zander is arrested, and the crew, including Nare, set off to rescue him in a modified TIE fighter, leaving Roger behind to continue to distract Wick. Even with a total lack of a rescue plan, the crew easily infiltrates the Star Destroyer, holding Zander and the N1 starfighter. Vader confronts the crew before they can escape, but becomes hopelessly distracted by the Naboo starfighter and takes it for a joyride himself. Thinking quickly, Nare hijacks Imperial comms, claiming rebels are escaping in the N1. So TIEs are dispatched to intercept Vader's joyride. He easily blasts an entire squadron of his own men. When Vader lands back in the destroyer's hangar in less than perfect shape, Zander quickly hops in the N1 and the rest of the crew in the modified TIE fighter and escape, but the Imperials don't follow, refusing to be duped a second time. I love it, but they are. Zander returns the Naboo starfighter to their shop, and Wick is furious that it falls apart completely in front of him. Cordy offers Wick any other ship from their hangar, and he chooses Xander's Blazemaker, his most prized possession. Zander is devastated until the Blazemaker explodes, heading away from their port. Zander quickly realized he hadn't actually fixed the fusion tubes, something he will have to remember when he builds the Blazemaker Mark II. Roll credits.
Yeah.
Now, I'm actually shocked. When I wrote this, I thought I'm literally going to write a synopsis that's like 5 sentences.
Yeah.
Because it's about as much that happens in this episode. I thought,
because it's mostly like character work,
right? Like there was that one point where Nare like kind of gets frustrated and her face tattoos change to red, and it's like, are they starting to realize that maybe she's not the good person that she's supposed to be or something?
Well,
or
Cordy already seemed to sort of distrust her.
Yeah.
When Rowan was like, "Oh, Nari can help," and she's like, "No, let's not do that."
She did, yeah, she did do that, yeah.
I don't know if there's a little bit of mistrust building up there. I did think it was funny the way Nari kept being like, "I'll use Jedi powers to do this. Look over there," and then she types in the code. And
She have to keep
like,
saying that.
I did it. I thought that was kind of funny. I mean, to your point, I liked that it was just a romp. It wasn't really a huge like we're building up this big plot. It's just kind of like, those things are percolating in the background. Or right now, like Xander's on a joyride, so we got to go and fix this.
Yeah,
I didn't mind it. I really didn't.
Yeah,
I thought it was a fun watch. I thought there was a lot of fun moments. Vader seeing the Naboo starfighter and getting nostalgic for it, and us seeing that little flashback to Phantom Menace, I thought actually was really effective. You know, it seems
Mhm.
like sometimes in the Lego stuff when they do the flashback stuff, it's either like real ham-fisted or it's goofy, but they
Yeah.
didn't really play that for a laugh. It was kind of just Vader has that memory, and you see that scene play out, and it's pretty straight. And I
Yeah.
just liked that. You know, I thought it was kind of a fun scene and just giving Vader a little bit to do. And it was goofy, but it felt like an acceptable level of goofy, you know?
Yeah. I always think too it's funny that like how they've chosen a Naboo starfighter that like in Mandalorian
Yeah.
it was like, oh, Naboo
Yeah.
starfighter is so rare.
Yeah.
Like it's like I just think it's funny that they just keep using the same ship. They didn't choose to like any other ship.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there any
I
other like
get
totally
it.
recognizable a
I get
B
it
wing or
though. You
something
know,
like a Y
it
wing?
is a
You
very
know,
every time I see that ship, and yeah, when they use it in the Mandalorian and stuff, there is something cool about that design, like
it is so
the
cool. It
yellow, you
really.
know. So I mean, I totally get it. Speaking of other ships, though, when Xander gets tractored in, he's with a fleet of A-wings, and the A-wings are my favorite Star Wars ship. So I was
Yep.
excited to see them.
Fleet.
That was cool to see
Yeah.
all the A-wings.
Forgot that yeah, A wing
Yeah.
is your
We
favorite.
got a little bit of, Rowan tries to use his Jedi powers and it's a little successful. We
Yeah.
kind of get the sibling dynamic out here a little bit. Overall, I thought it was a good half hour of television, really.
Yeah, it really did almost touch on everything,
Yeah.
and to the point where I think that's where I mean where it was hard to know if anything that happened actually progressed the story, right? Is even filler episodes will
Yeah.
have little things that kind of like bridge a plot line. Like even that little Rowan thing of him using, oh, okay, so look, he is
Yeah.
actually using his force abilities, so Nare is teaching him stuff. That kind of floats that plot line.
Yep.
I guess the Blazemaker, like, oh, hey, we're gonna hear about the Blazemaker. Well, that plot line was floated and then crashed.
Yeah.
So I guess now they're gonna, well, he's making another one, so they're just continuing the plot line of that with him and his
Yeah.
Blazemaker. I guess they continue the plot line of like Nare infiltrating or kind of going against, I guess, Vader and the Emperor's plan
Yeah.
about Rowan. I guess what their plan was they wanted her to bring him in, but she's training him instead or
Right.
something. I guess. And so because he can be used to track the crystals,
Right.
so instead of bringing him in, she's fooling him into
Yeah.
finding crystals. So yeah, it's like all those stories like had a little bridge
Yeah.
despite everything, which kind of makes sense. But then you're just kind of like, oh, that thing happened. Does that mean anything? Oh, that thing happened. Does that mean anything? And like I said, Lego
Yeah.
Star Wars, it could
I mean, I
literally
think
just
what
mean
it
absolutely
means
nothing.
is character
Yeah,
development. I think that's really all. I think,
that's okay. That makes sense.
when we
Yeah.
compare this show to the Yoda Chronicles, which, glad that's in the
Oh,
past. This
yeah.
this to me just feels like a more traditional TV series rather than like let's just make a series of
Yes.
shorts and loosely connected. This seems like when I said like kind of a throwback
Yeah.
to what TV was like in the pre-streaming days, where you have this is a plot heavy episode, this is a character development episode, this is just a fun
Hmm.
contemplative episode, where you'd have all those different things and together they would influence the story in different ways. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's what's going on here. Let's talk about the bad. What's your Oak of Arc moment?
So for me, it was that Nare. I forgot about
Yeah.
Nare almost in this episode. That she felt unimportant, but to the whole plot, she was extremely important.
Right.
So that was what confused me, kind of with that. Like, it like is what's going on like important to the plot? Like, does this matter, or is she giving herself away? I mean, but it was like one of those things where they couldn't have done anything to get into the Star Destroyer, and that's how I had to realize, like, wait, they didn't even have a rescue plan. They were
Yeah.
like, we need to get
They
him.
just went for it. Yep.
They did a good job of like, huh, we made it onto the ship. That was like surprisingly
Yeah.
easy, like things like that. We're like, we were like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
It was interesting. They kept that tension of like, was it easy because she's a Jedi or because she's a Sith informant kind of thing?
Because she just knows everything. Yeah.
But yeah, she was just like literally, she was kind of like in the episode, and then
Yeah.
by the end of the episode, she wasn't there anymore. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
like Nara was in
She
this
was
episode.
really just, yeah. I mean, she was just there to kind of, facilitate getting on the ship, and then from her side, it was just she had to maintain her cover. I feel
Yeah.
like was about the only goal that she had: maintain the cover, get in and out quickly. So yeah, that makes sense. She was when she showed up, I was like, oh right. I kind of was like, oh maybe she's
Yeah.
not on the ship all the time, like maybe she's
Hmm.
elsewhere. But no, she's just like in her room doing stuff.
Just like,
So
yeah, talking to Vader. Yeah.
yeah. I felt a little like, they kept dragging out, like not telling Wick what was going on and everything. And like, I know, like for shenanigans' sake, you have to do that. But I kept thinking, like, why don't they just be like, we took it out to test it, the Empire grabbed it, and now the Empire has your ship, and then they're kind of off the hook
Yeah.
for it. But they never do that, really.
Or something wrong with it. It's going to take more than a day. Like,
Yeah.
you don't go to the you don't go to you don't go to the repairman for an oil change, and they're like, hey, we found like a transmission leak.
Right.
You can sit here and wait for it. It's like, no, it's going to take like 16 hours to fix that. Like, you're not going to sit there. It's going to take a while. So that to me, I was just like, why don't they just tell him like there's something wrong with it that they need to have it overnight, and then he'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll come back in the morning.
Yeah.
And they're off the book, but they like kept him in there, which was weird.
Right.
And they could easily have done that and forgotten about him. And then when he came back the next day for it, he would have been like, what? Oh my gosh. It could have been just the same thing. Literally walks in.
I understood it. You know what I mean? I understood why, for the sake
I think it
of
was
the show,
funny
they
for
didn't
the
do
kids.
that. Yeah, but it's still, I was kind of like, but you could, come on. Anyway. Anyway, how about a Nichiwawa moment?
So I really love. There was a couple like little funny things that I was like, oh man, that was really good. There was some really good jokes. The Vader in the N1 scene I thought was so cool when he like looks over and he looks at it and he's like, and like he has a flashback of when he was a kid and the droid Trade Federation ship and everything like that. Like that was, to me, I was like, oh, that's really cool. I thought that was really that's when like, okay, this show is being made by people who do actually appreciate the IP.
That seems to
they
be
love
true.
it. Like, that to me was like confidence building of like, oh, thank God, But I thought at the end it was really funny when Zander, when they were like bringing it in and he's like, I can hammer that out. Oh, I can hammer that out too. Like he just kept saying things like, I'll be able to fix it. I'll be able to fix that. Yeah. And it like totally breaks. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to fix that. Like, when it got to that point, I thought it was pretty funny.
That was a good joke. Scene. You remember the scene in Groundhog Day where Phil and the groundhog drive off the cliff? And the truck lands, and Chris Elliott's like, he might be all right. And then it bursts into flames, and he's like, probably not now. The same joke.
I do love the joke of like, oh, I can hammer that out. Oh, yeah. No, no, not fixing that.
Maybe not.
It's so good. That made me laugh out loud because I thought it was, because like, I don't know, there's just something about that, like, oh, yeah, I can hammer that out, which is like, it's total BS. They're just going to replace it, but it's like so good.
It was good.
What about you?
There was kind of a running gag with Vader and choking. When Zander is captured and they're like, oh, he's a rebel spy, we got to get information out of him, and they're like, he's not giving us any information, and Vader's like, have you tried choking him? Because I have good luck with that. And then later, one of the Imperials, it cuts to a scene with him choking. And then Vader like Heimlichs him and is like, I told you to take smaller bites. And then he turns around and force chokes him to get the information that he needs. And I thought it was so funny.
That was a funny scene. I did like that.
Like, that was like bites. Right. Vader hijinks, but it worked. It was funny. So I don't know.
An actual funny joke from Vader.
Yeah. How many yub nubs do you give this?
I'd give this a solid 4 because I think I have yet to. It's almost like I want to retroactively, depending on like what occurs in the next few episodes. That this might. I'd be impressed that like maybe some of the things that happened in this episode track with the rest of the show. Especially with like the Blazemaker. Like I feel like that's going to come back with like, okay, Blazemaker Mark II. That's going to be critical to the story. But it's almost like it's a filler episode. But I don't know if it's I feel like it's a meatier filler episode than we think. So it's just like a frosting cupcakes, episode that like some of the stuff that actually happens here progresses the storyline more than we think. And I get that feeling that is. So I give it a solid 4 because it was almost like, really nothing happened. It was very plot light, but it was like you said, like the character progression. There was aspects of the story that progressed each character's individual story rather than the overall story, which I think is that's an accomplishment. I think that's very cool, which makes it entertaining, And so I think a 4 is fair, because it's like they did a lot with very little, but they didn't have to. So, I don't know. Yeah, 4. I'm good with a 4.
Yeah, I'm probably like a 3.5. Because it was just fun, and that's it. So I mean, I think,
even the Vader jokes, like, that was breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
like
it was a pleasant experience. Next week is going to be interesting because next time we're going to be celebrating the 60th anniversary of Star Trek with a special episode of This Enterprising Life to cover the newest animated series, Star Trek Scouts, and of course, we'll have special guest Amanda Smith from the David A. Howe Public Library joining us.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Have you sampled this show at all?
Not a frame. I don't even think I've seen a picture of it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
No, you shared something with me.
I put the playlist in the chat for you and Amanda.
That's it. That's what I saw. Yeah, the playlist was in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's literally all I've seen.
Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, I'm running into this absolutely blind, so I'm hoping it's going to be fun.
We're planning to focus on the second half of the first season called Holodeck Rescues. So we'll see how it goes. It'll be an interesting way to ring in the 60th anniversary of Star Trek.
I'll only respect it if Barclay's in the episode. Because if you're making anything about the holodeck, Barclay's got to be in it.
You have
right?
to have it.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Somehow,
we'll find out. We'll find out together next time.
All right. Well, I'll see you and Amanda then.
I'll be there.
This Endorian Life is brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. Be sure to check out some of the other shows on the network, including 902 Here We Go and previously on X-Men. Please rate, subscribe, and share these shows wherever you get your podcasts.